Pennsylvania Congressman Scott Perry sits on the House Foreign Affairs Committee of Pennsylvania, joins us here live from the Capitol building. Good to see you, sir. Thanks so much for coming on. So listening again to our reporting there, also Politico reporting the United States is debating lifting the terror designation for the main Syrian rebel group. One of the current officials saying, quote, there is a huge scramble to see if and how and when we can delist HTS. So should this Syrian rebel group, in your mind, be delisted?
Look, the only reason anyone would consider that is because somebody that's running the Biden presidency continues to believe that somehow terrorists will do good things. Terrorists, whether they're Hamas, whether Hezbollah, or whether they're HTS practice Taqiyya, which is the strategic lying and deception performed on the West to advance their goals. Anybody that knows anything about the region and that ideology knows that. And so this could only be happening in the world of whoever's running the Biden presidency. Obviously, it's very dangerous. And look, this only underscores the failure of Iran, the failure of Russia, the success of Israel, and quite honestly, Turkey. And I think the bigger issue here is as a NATO ally, what Turkey is doing in this region and ideologically. And of course, this is the HTS and this individual, they are enemies of the United States. They are not working towards the United States' interest. But we have to be clear about what our interests are in the region and then how we deal with our allies like Turkey, who are working against our interests in the region. And that's a very delicate balance. I think that's the bigger issue. But of course, terrorists should not be countenanced by the United States, and we should not be looking for a way to legitimize them, not in the beginning of an administration and not in the waning days of this Biden administration, which has been a failure on foreign policy on every single level.
While you were speaking, sir, we saw some fireworks going off in Damascus, and we'd also been following the reports that refugees who had fled the Assad-led Syria are now returning following the news of his departure and the fact that he has fled to Russia. So a lot of moving pieces, obviously. Can we talk more domestically, though, about your committee? We've learned Florida Congressman Brian Mast will become the new chairman after current chairman, Texas Congressman Michael McCaul, was term limited. Can we get your reaction to Congressman Mast being tapped to lead the House Foreign Affairs Committee?
Well, I think it's, first of all, congratulations to Brian Mast. Well-earned, well-deserved. Of course, a disabled combat veteran himself, losing parts of his body in defense of the country. I think you're going to see a dramatic shift towards a more pro-Trump policy out of the Foreign Affairs Committee, which has heretofore always worked primarily towards bipartisanship. And bipartisanship is fine as long as you're doing the right thing, but not doing, being bipartisan for the sake of being bipartisan. So it's time for the left to come along and be for America now. And I think Brian Mast is going to represent that as chairman of the committee.
U.S. Congressman from Pennsylvania, Scott Perry, joining us from the Capitol. Thank you, sir. Appreciate the time.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.